Have you ever wondered who pays for a tree when it falls on a power line? Because I'll tell you right now, if you're standing there looking at a tree tangled up in electrical wires, it's probably not the moment you want to start figuring out who's responsible for it. In fact, before anybody starts talking about invoices, insurance, or who's paying for what, there's a much more important question. Is it safe? The first thing you should do is call the power company, and here's why. Most tree contractors are not permitted to work within 10 feet of energized lines, so you have to call the power company first so they can make the area safe, de-energize the lines, make sure nobody gets hurt. Here's where things start getting a little confusing though. A lot of people assume that if a tree hits a power line, the power company will pay for everything. That's not necessarily true. And in many cases, the utility company's priority is getting the area safe and restoring service. That's very different than deciding who pays for the tree work itself. Now here's another question to think about. What kind of power lines are we talking about? Because not all are the same. There's the main ones and then the ones that service the house. If it hits the one that services the house, we're talking about something completely different. Or there's a chance that we are, because now we're talking about specific property. And that can create a very different conversation. But before you jump to conclusions, ask yourself this. Did the tree damage anything else? Because if it did, then there might be coverage afforded under the homeowner's policy, but that's really for them to discuss with their insurance company. Because one of the biggest mistakes that I see contractors make is they try to argue coverage and they try to tell people what is or isn't covered. That's not our job. It's not our job to tell homeowners what's covered. It's not our job to negotiate claims. You need to really think of yourself as a witness because our job is to document facts, take photos, measure damage, and document conditions. Explain what work is needed to make the property safe, then let the homeowner ask the insurance company those coverage questions. In fact, one of the most valuable things you can do is help the homeowner ask questions. Questions like, is this service line considered part of my insurance policy? Or can you explain how this loss is being evaluated? Or can you send that explanation to me in writing? Notice the difference? You're not telling them what the answer is. You're helping them get the answers from the people who can actually make coverage decisions. That's because the homeowner doesn't have the same rights that a contractor does, and same thing the other way around. One final thing. None of this is legal advice. You need to consult with a licensed attorney, learn the laws in your states, and you might even need a public adjuster, because I'm not any of those things. So next time a tree falls on a power line, don't start asking who's paying. Start by asking who's responsible for making the scene safe, because that's usually the first answer you need before you can figure out the second one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Save this and share it with others. Bye.